Welcome back to the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. Today's video, we are going to be throwing it back to last year when we did 6 different trades that the Leafs could possibly make this year. You're going to want to stick around for this whole video because we have some really awesome trades and we're going to surprise each other with these trades that we are making up. So Felly, I know you want to go first, so let's get right into the 6 possible Maple Leafs trades the Maple Leafs can make. Go ahead.
Nope, I actually want to go last.
Too bad I've chosen you to go first.
Okay, sorry, let me pull it up here. All right, so this one's possible. It's been talked about a little bit. It's not too far-fetched, but so basically here, so Leafs get JT Miller and Luke Shen for a first-round pick, Kerfoot, and Dermott. So the reason the Leafs are giving up so much is because, sorry, I forgot to mention JT Miller's salary is half retained, first of all. So that also adds value. He also has another year on his contract, which adds even more value. And he has over a point per game this year. He's a very valuable player with another year on his contract at 50% retained salary. Easily worth a first-round pick. Easily. 100%. Not Nick Foligno. JT Miller. A superstar in the NHL. Okay. Star. He's a star. Then you get Luke Shen, who's a right-handed defenseman, right? And you're giving up Dermott, basically trading Dermott for Shen and adding Kerfoot on there for salary reasons and just to bolster the trade a little bit. I think he has 2 years left on his contract. So doing that, you get JT Miller and Luke Shen, and then you're giving away Dermott and Kerfoot plus the first. So you're getting basically no money is changing because you're getting Dermott and you're getting rid of Dermott and Kerfoot off the salary, and you're getting a 50% retained JT Miller who makes, I think, $7 million, just around there. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect the cap at all. That's why I think it would be really good. And then you still have free cap space for my next trade, but we'll get to that after.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty even trade. I might be a little biased because I did help you out with it, making it. But I mean, the first for JT Miller, he's on a 2-year contract. Plus you have Kerfoot going over, so it's kind of like almost a replacement for him when you get that first rounder. And then obviously Dermott for Shen. Shen's a little bit better. They're kind of on the same level. Dermott, I think it will be even because he is the younger player.
Yeah, I think it's also the right-handed shot of Shen instead of the left-handed shot Dermott.
Yeah.
Dermott, you can kind of see that he's kind of leveling out. Like, he's not going to get that much better of an NHL player. And Shen just adds more size and grit than Dermott does. We have 3 left-handed defensemen that are better than Dermott that can play every night. Sandin, Riley, Brody. They're all left-handed defensemen. They can all play, and they're all, I think, better than Dermott. But
Jude, thoughts and feelings?
And Mozzin too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it'd be great for my fantasy team, and that's it.
All right. Well, since you like that trade, what did you come up with on your end?
Yeah, so I went for kind of closer to a 1-for-1 kind of thing, except we're giving away a third with ours. So I went with from Montreal, Ben Sherratt, and we give away Travis and a third rounder.
Who's Travis?
Travis Scott. Travis Dermott.
Oh.
So I see.
Wait, what was the pick?
Third, 2022.
Okay. A third for Sherratt and Dermott?
Mm-hmm. No.
Sorry, third and Dermott for Sherratt?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think, okay, so I would say this would not be anything more or less than a push for the playoffs, as I believe just looking at how he played against us last year in the playoffs, and then just overall, he's a huge boy. He freaking 6'3", 235, and he also has 81 block shots in 49 games this year. So that's somebody who I feel resonates. Somebody like Brody on our team, who he's always getting his body in front of that puck. He's doing everything to help out our blind goalies, which really need it. So
Yeah.
I just feel like Sherratt would fit well as although, like Felly was saying, we kind of have a overstock of left-handed defensemen, and Sherratt is a left-handed defenseman. Although we do trade away Dermott, so you can just it's kind of like a 1-for-1 and then a throwaway of a pick. But I just feel like he'd fit for 3.5, and he would be a lone defenseman.
I think at this point, the Leafs just have too many offensive-minded defensemen. Even like, I don't know, just they need someone with size and that can block shots and hit, and isn't a complete liability. They can be some.
Justin Hull checkmarked all your boxes except for the last one.
Like he, the Leafs just need someone really solid back there that's gonna bolt like the top two, like Riley and Brody. That is a good pairing, no problem at all, right? Then you got Mozzin and Hull. Mozzin can play. We know he can play. He's had some tough nights, but he can play in the play. He's won a cup, for God's sakes, right? He's getting older, but he can play. He can play. So he's the second left-handed. Then you got Justin Hull, who you need someone to replace him. And then the third pairing would be Labushkin, I'd say, and Sandin. So get someone for Hull, and maybe Sandin even should have to battle for that spot because he has been not good defensively. So at least this game.
I do agree with the trade there. I think the Leafs could definitely use Sherratt. The only thing I would be concerned with is the value, because I know the Montreal Canadiens, they really want a first round. They believe they can get a first round for Sherratt. That is going to completely depend on the market. I don't believe he's worth a first round pick. However, they do. And we know Dubas is a pushover. If that trade was to ever get through, I think at least he would give up a second.
Yeah, that's actually what I have here is a second, and I have Dermott's age there just because we're getting an older player and Dermott still has like time to develop, even though we know he's probably not going to. So I think you're exactly right, Eric. He is they take advantage of the younger GM, but
he is such a pushover. It's so funny.
Why are you laughing here?
You just, the way you said that, take advantage of the younger GM.
Okay, Eric.
You're just dirty-minded, bud. Let's hear your trade now.
Okay, my trade. So I'm gonna go with my first trade. They're not in any order, but the Leafs have been rumored to be interested in Max Domi. So I thought the Leafs could trade for Max Domi, and trade Kerfoot and a 2023 third. Now, the reason I mean, usually I would go 1-for-1 for this. But the thing is, the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't looking for the trade. The Leafs are. We know what happened with Foligno last year. I don't know if it's the best option to trade with the Columbus Blue Jackets again.
The Columbus Blue Jackets have taken advantage of Dubas so many times. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have had it their way with him. But Max Domi, he would be a great addition to that Tavares and Nylander line. I think he'd shake things up because they're really, really struggling right now. And I feel like, yes, that's a good line. You look at that line on paper, John Tavares, William Nylander, and Alex Kerfoot, but nothing's happening. And if you put Max Domi there, then you can keep the third line the same, which has been a light, and the fourth line the same, which has been decent. And you don't have to shuffle around. If you trade Kerfoot, then you don't have to shuffle everyone around and move Kerfoot to that third line, move Camp down, and scratch Engvall. And you get like a solid top six left wing who, he's feisty as well. He's like his father. He's going to be similar to Michael Bunting, and I think that he'd work really well in that lineup.
Yeah, how old is Domi?
That's a good question.
He's only like 26, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
25.
Something like that.
That's crazy. I feel like he's been in the league for so long.
No, I feel like he just got drafted.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. I feel like
He's
he's
been
so
everywhere.
new. Arizona, Montreal, Columbus. Yeah, and he probably will get traded at trade deadline this year. Potentially.
Yep.
No, the thing is that like the reason I say JT Miller and I think Eric
Max
is
Domi.
saying Max Domi is because the Leafs just the left wing depth is not fully there. I mean, Kerfoot's good. He is a natural center, but I feel like and no one saw Bunting coming. No one saw Bunting getting 50 points this year. So and probably more. So Bunting is obviously way exceeding everyone's expectations with the stuff he's doing, but still you can't like there's just Kerfoot he's good. He's a good hockey player. They just need more from and like I say, that Tavares Nylander line is just not good right now. So getting someone who gives the line a spark, someone like maybe JT Miller, obviously would give them a spark, 100%, right? Even a guy like Max Domi gets in people's heads. He gets in puck battles. He's really tough, really tough. Someone like that can spark a line like that, right? A line that's struggling. So we'll see.
Jude, did you have any thoughts as well on that trade? No. Okay, Felly.
He said no.
Last trade. This is
Alright.
this is apparently your interesting one. So let's hear it.
It is interesting. See, a lot of people wouldn't agree with this. But I think it's one of the only ways that the Leafs are going to be able to win a playoff series. You acquire Marc-Andre Fleury, 50% retained salary for, depending on what happens with, like, you're not trading Campbell. They could potentially trade Mrazek. I have a couple options for what the Leafs should give, but it could, I don't know the logistics of the whole NHL and like what goes on, but potentially a three-way trade where Mrazek could go somewhere else. The Leafs trade a pick away to another team, a low pick, along with Mrazek and get Fleury. But basically, it would be kind of like a Mrazek for Fleury sort of thing, because I don't think Chicago would really want Mrazek. But if you have Fleury and Campbell, Fleury is a good goalie. He won the Vezina last year. Okay, he's got He's got a 915 or something this year with a 2 goals against average or 250 something on goals against average on a bad team. His record isn't good because he's on not a really bad team, not a good team. He's not on a top team. But look at how he played on Vegas, right? Like the way he played on Vegas, I feel like is Vegas and the Leafs kind of have similar teams. They're really offensively, they're good, and they score a lot of goals, and they have decent defense, but like not like the best in the league, right? But like I feel like Fleury, and then you just play the hot hand. Like it's Marc-Andre Fleury. He's an established goaltender. He's playing really good this year for a team, and he's on a 1-year contract. He's a rental, and it would be the way that the Leafs goalies are playing right now. Imagine if you put Fleury in a Leafs jersey and stuck him in the net. Like I don't see that happening. The Leafs getting lit up like that with Fleury in the net. And then you have Campbell still. And if he's playing hot, if he's hot, and you play him. But it's worth a try because this year has to be a year where they're going for it. And having Mrazek and Campbell as a tandem is not the right situation for the Leafs at all. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to hear because that was like my kind of out of left field kind of thing. But I mean, it's Fleury. And Chicago has no reason to keep him. Sorry, Chicago has no reason to keep him this year.
Yeah.
So
I agree with this trade, but I also don't in different aspects. So obviously I have Fleury bias, so I like that'd be great. And like we've seen in previous years, not a lot of good things happen when you trade for a backup, and when you start trading for veteran forwards. What has come from that? Literally nothing. So we go for something different. Maybe throw in a starting goalie put all our eggs in the basket, like Felly's saying, and kind of get rid of that first. And you know what? I could see Mrazek going to Chicago. I'd see nothing wrong with Lankinen and Mrazek as a tandem in Chicago, and then throw something else in there. The cons that I see is Chicago thinks Fleury is worth like literally what comes out of God, and on top of that, Fleury does not want to go anywhere except for Pittsburgh or Vegas. He said that, and or stay in Chicago, which is where everything leaning.
He has a no trade clause, but apparently it's a 10-team list. So, unless the Leafs are on that 10-team list, I don't think he can. He could veto it, but I don't see why he would. He'd have a chance to come win a cup instead of being in Chicago, where he's not going to win a cup. He's going to be out. It just like if he came to Toronto, he has a chance to win a cup. He does, and he could be a big help. I agree with that. He is pretty valuable, but the fact that he's only on a 1-year deal, his last year of his contract, he is a bit older. The Leafs sending Mrazek is, I say it's equal value because Mrazek's on a 3-year contract. So a team looking for more future than right now would be the Blackhawks, right? They're looking for a 3-year kind of guy instead of Fleury, who's playing well, but he's done after this year. I don't think he's going to go back to Chicago, and he's pretty old, so who knows what's happening. But he's a game changer. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting look. I don't think Fleury really wants to come to like a team like Toronto.
Yeah, but you kind of have to take that out of the equation. It's not really his choice. If he gets traded, he gets traded. He could veto it, but he's not going to.
Yeah, but
I
look
to
at
Toronto. He would go to Toronto.
I don't think he'd be a good fit though, because I think he kind of only played in markets. Pittsburgh's the exception, but he was brought up in Pittsburgh. He kind of on the teams he played, they're kind of whatever. It's just like a team. It's like Mario Lemieux's old stinky team that he played on. And then he went up with them, won a few cups, moved to Vegas. Oh, this new team sucks. Their market, they blew a 4-goal lead in the third period and no one gave a shit. Right? If that happened in Toronto, 5 buildings would be burned, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, they went to the Stanley Cup final not the year before and the year after, no?
Yeah, so it's only been positive in Vegas, really. And then only negatives everyone forgets about. So I don't think
if he brought us to the Stanley Cup final, I wouldn't really complain. And then the next year,
I think the same thing. It just gives you momentum going forward. If you get I think about Price, how he played in the playoffs. It's goalies like that play different in the playoffs.
But we have that already. That's the thing.
No,
Campbell, I don't think playoffs are completely different. We know that.
Are going to step up in the playoffs. You need, you know what? If Campbell does, he does. And then it's kind of a waste of a trade, but it's not really a waste of a trade because in case anything happens, you still have Fleury. It's to me, it's just a safe thing to do. I feel like you can't lose by doing that.
Yeah,
because
but
worst comes to worst, you play Campbell and you lose Mrazek. That's the worst case scenario.
This is the thing, though. You have to look at it. I like what Jude said. You have to look back at last year, and you have to see where you went wrong. You got a bad forward on the Matthews-Marner line, and then just shuffle them around the lineup. You have Bunting now. Now the Tavares
Hyman was not bad. Hyman was not bad.
I know, but a lot of the lines were shuffling.
Player.
Right. I understand that, but they got an extra forward to play in the top 6 when they didn't need that. Now you do need that. So get someone like JT Miller, right?
Right.
Last year they got a goalie. It didn't work out. You have to look back.
A backup though.
There's a difference between Dave Riddick and Marc-Andre Fleury. There's a huge difference. There's also a difference between Nick Foligno and Marc-Andre Fleury. It's a complete different thing because you're right, Nick Foligno. But the only thing that was going through Dubas's mind when he traded for Foligno was that he's a leader. That's it. He was he's a good player and he's a leader and he's going to be good because he has a ton of playoff experience, right? Same thing goes for Fleury, except Fleury is actually good.
Yeah, but
Fleury didn't have 2
Campbell
goals
was good last year.
games. I understand that, but this year he isn't.
Yeah, but we're not
Right
in the
now,
playoffs yet.
you can't rely on that though. You can't rely on someone who's unreliable. He's unreliable.
He's
Now
in a slump.
Right now he's unreliable and in a slump. Has Fleury hit a slump rate? No. And
He did at the
especially
start of the season.
look what Price did last year in the playoffs.
Campbell had the best save percentage in the playoffs.
Yeah, he played 5 games. He played 7 games.
7. I just think you have to look at what happened last year as the negatives. If Campbell plays bad in the playoffs for one game, you have Mrazek. That's 2 goalies who
and
have
that's not good.
Playoffs.
You know what? If Campbell plays bad for a game, you put in Fleury. Think about the difference of the thing I just said between the thing you just said. Imagine putting in Fleury instead of putting in Mrazek. And then Fleury has a hot game and you play him until he loses. It's like, or has a bad game. Like that's how you would win. It's like climbing a ladder. It's like, all right, Campbell wins game 1, Campbell wins game 2, loses game 3. Let's put Fleury in for game 4. Fleury wins game 4, loses game 5. Put Campbell back in for game 6, win. It's like both of them, they're going to be well rested. It would be, I don't know. I feel like it would actually be something that they could do and actually improve the team. But I get what you're saying. Like, it's not the biggest need, but you have to look at, we let in 7 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals the past 10 games.
Yeah, well, 100%. I think it would be better than Mrazek right now. The thing is, if we give up all our assets for Fleury, we can't improve our team where we actually need it.
Giving up any assets.
Yeah, but
you're giving up Mrazek.
Chicago,
that's basically it.
Think about what Chicago paid to trade Fleury here to Chicago. They're not going to get anything less than that. They're not going to give him up for anything less.
The Leafs would trade Mrazek in a pick, and it could be a 3-way trade, but I don't know. I don't think it would be as difficult as you think it would be because Chicago is not in a place to win. I think when they traded for him, they thought they were in a place to win. Now they know they're not in a place to win. They're going to try to get as much as possible for him because they have no reason to have a 36-year-old goalie in net for a team 37. That's at the bottom of the league. Yeah. So on a 1-year contract, he's just going to play 82 games out and then he's going to enter the off season and probably retire or do something else. Chicago may as well try to get something for him. They are going to try to trade him. And he's only worth what people are willing to trade him. He's not worth what Chicago traded him for, or for him. He's only worth what the market is willing to pay for him. So if Florida says, oh, okay, this is a bad example. But if Carolina goes, we'll give you a 2nd-round pick and a prospect, that's what he's worth. Like if 10 teams say that, that's what he's worth. No one's going to overpay for a 36-year-old goalie. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Leafs will trade. We'll trade for Fleury, and maybe he wins the cup for us.
You know what? We could look back at this and be like, what? But no, I mean, it's super far-fetched. I'm just trying to you got to have a different look because last year it didn't work.
No, I understand exactly. I understand exactly what you're going.
Yeah.
What you're going for with the trade, what you're looking at in terms, and I see it because what we've done last year, right? Both of your trades work. JT Miller or him or both.
You could. I mean, the way I drew it up, you could do both, but and salary would work. But
and that would be the complete opposite of last year.
It would be you would get instead of put it in this perspective, you get Foligno, you get you get JT Miller instead of Foligno, and you get Fleury instead of Riddick.
And Shen instead of Hutton.
Those would be the 3 players we would get. I should just be the Leafs GM. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. We're actually kicking you out of the Buds in the Box. You're too overqualified for the position.
Yeah, my bad.
Anyway, Jude, what was your second trade?
Yeah, for sure. So talking about far-fetched, this is definitely one. And I thought Felly would have something similar to this, but I know he'll like it because we always somehow bring it up to each other when we are talking in this kind of sense. It always gets brought up somehow. I'm not sure if it was ever solved on why it was done, but so we receive from Vancouver Connor Garland with 30% salary retained and Luke Shen. So it's similar to Felly's. I didn't know Felly had Luke Shen. I thought he just had Miller. But Garland would slot right in on that JT line and be I say he plays a very similar game to Domi. So he's not a big guy. He's a hard worker and he can shoot the puck. So you know what? I think he'd fit even better than Kerfoot's fitting there. And then this is where it gets a little funky. So from that, Connor Garland is traded to Vegas, who retains 20% of the salary, which we did to Robin Leonard back in 2017. And then
they owe us something. I don't know what it is.
Garland is traded back to us for Liljegren or Hall. That's because they have been showing.
I trade Hall. Don't trade Liljegren. It's too early for that.
But Vancouver has been showing interest in Liljegren this year. So that's the one thing. And then Dermott and a third to throw in there. What do you guys think?
I could see the pick going up a little bit, but 2023, I could see a second there because Garland's no JT Miller, but he still has a solid year this year, and he would definitely slot into that Kerfoot position.
My only issue is he's a right winger righty, but I guess he could play left wing.
I think he might actually play on the left wing. He just shoots right, but I'm not sure.
Does he? Yeah, because he definitely shoots right, 100%.
I know that. Yeah, he does.
But yeah, I think he's a skilled forward. You know, he's a game changer. He could be a game changer, right? Like you just need guys like that can score a goal in a big scenario. JT Miller would be that guy, right? Potentially Garland could be a guy like that who can score a big goal. You hope for things like that to happen. It would just feel better to, instead of put Kerfoot out in a situation, you put out Connor Garland, right? Just a little bit better, just an overall all-around player, right? No shade towards Kerfoot. He's still a Leaf, we still like him, but this is all hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Kerfoot's been great this year. Definitely exceeded my expectations. The only thing is, like Felly said before, especially with the goalies, that line is struggling right now. And I think if you don't change something right now, it's just going to continue. I mean, Tavares doesn't have a goal in 16 games or something. And you got to shake it up because something's obviously not working. Nylander has been decent throughout this time. So is Kerfoot. But it's just, something has to change. And definitely Garland or JT Miller would put definitely I don't know.
Or Domi.
Yeah.
I like all of those. I do like all of those. I just think obviously JT Miller is the best out of those three players, but I think it would be so three. What did I say? Four?
No, you said two, didn't you?
Oh, my bad. But it's just he's such a game changer. It's completely different. You just add so much to the team. And if they can do it the way I do it, they're not giving up any it's hard, but if they can do it the way that I kind of drew it out, they wouldn't be giving up any prospects. They'd be giving away Kerfoot. It just seems like it would work. Any of those three players though, I think would really help out the team. I honestly like Domi too, because he just adds that grit. He's a hardworking guy. So
yeah, they definitely need a spark there. A lot of these players can bring that. So hopefully Kyle Dubas does something. My last trade I want to go over quickly. Pretty big trade actually. It's one that kind of people are talking about, but I added an element in there where people aren't really talking about, which I think would be very good for the Leafs. So my trade is from the Dallas Stars. The Leafs trade for Klingberg, John Klingberg, and Kiviranta. What's his first name?
Joel.
So John and Joel. They trade for. So Klingberg obviously is a right-handed defenseman, could easily replace Hull, and Kiviranta is a top six forward who's playing in a third line role. I mean, I don't watch him play all the time, but I know in fantasy mode or GM mode on NHL 22, he is the best player. He always wants the lowest contracts, and he's always like a solid 83. He could 100% fill that role that Kerfoot has. He's a solid top 6 left winger, and he has a contract for 2 more years. John Klingberg's a rental. In return, the Leafs would have to give up Kerfoot, where Kiviranta would slot in, Hull, and that's where Klingberg would slot in, and then a first-round pick, this year's first-round pick, and Nick Abruzzi, or potentially also a 2023 first-round pick. And Nick Abruzzi is a prospect from Harvard who has been playing really well in the NCAA. What do you guys think?
I think obviously Klingberg's a good defenseman. I feel like he is pretty offensive minded too. He doesn't have a huge defensive, like, I don't know what the word is, but he's not like a great defenseman. And like I said, the Leafs have some offensive defensemen. Obviously, he's better than Hull. So if that's, if you don't have to give up too much and he's better than Hull, then why not, right? But and he could play with Mozzin. I think that'd be a good pairing. But it just kind of, I don't know if that's the first thing Dubas would look for. And Kiviranta, yeah, I think he could definitely fit in on the team. Third line. I don't want to mess up third lineup though.
Yeah.
Fourth line for Engvall, maybe.
I mean, Kiviranta, he's a decent player. You could even like something to shake up that Tavares and Nylander line.
Yeah, sure.
Jude, thoughts and feelings? Share them.
You know what? I mean, Felly
Share them.
Felly was right. Sorry. Felly's right about the Klingberg. Klingberg is a offensive-minded defenseman. There's no doubt about it. He will pinch. He will leave Muzzin all alone. And I don't know if you can risk that in the playoffs, right? I don't know if we can have a defenseman who's in the corners, right, looking for that. He'd be nasty on the power play, including on the second one. That'd be sick. That'd be crazy. John Klingberg on our second power play. But that being said, that only does so much in the playoffs, including when they're throwing that much more body. And I don't know. I think he does fit, but it's to a certain extent where we're losing liability Hall for defensive liability, but it's offensive.
Like it's 100% a really good trade. Like he's a really good defenseman. He made it to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago. So he has playoff experience. He knows how to win playoff games. That's what you can ask for in a defenseman, right? If you have Hall on the D core, he's a 29-year-old who's played like 3 seasons in the NHL. Like it happened last year. He's just a bit of a liability. So getting anyone really who's just a little stronger than him helps. Like whether it's Shen or whether it's Klingberg, it'll help.
Yeah, I think I just had my NHL GM mode cap on there for that trade because you get like a decent replacement for Kerfoot, and then you have Riley Brody, offensive defenseman. You could go Klingberg, Muzzin, offensive defenseman, and then Labushkin and Sandin, which is the same throughout. So I think that my GM cap was a little bit biased there. But yeah, that's basically all we have to share with you guys. Comment what you guys think about our trades, what trades you would make. If you guys agree with our trades, disagree, anything you guys want to share with us, make sure you leave it in the comments down below. We're going to wrap this video up. So do you guys have any last comments that you want to share?
No.
Nope. All right. So this has been the Buds in the Box podcast. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and remember to comment. So we'll see you guys next time. This has been the Buds in the Box. Bye for now.